Welcome everyone to today's webinar on destinations and LGBTQ cultural events in Miami and Brazil, hosted by the Global Chamber Miami and the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am Lanier Robbins, Director of the Global Chamber Miami chapter, and with me is my colleague Dan Rios, Director of the LGBTQ Marketing at the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. For those of you watching who may not be familiar with the Global Chamber, we are a global network of business professionals, mentors, and innovative companies located in 525 metros across 195 countries. Today's event has been supported by the U.S. Commercial Service and the U.S. Department of State, where we are honored to have Commercial Officer Elmer Richardson, Commercial Specialist Jusara Haddad, and Commercial Specialist Dallas DeMarchi from the U.S. Consulate General in Sao Paulo, and Catherine Griffith, Political and Economic Officer at the U.S. Consulate General of Recife, Brazil, with us on this Zoom today. Thank you for all of you attending and for your support of this virtual event. Today's webinar is also supported in partnership with the Board of Miami-Dade County Commissioners International Trade Consortium, also known as ITC. Here to talk about ITC is their Assistant Director, Maria Dreyfus-Olvert. Please welcome Maria Dreyfus-Olvert.
Bon dia, good afternoon. I am the Assistant Director of the International Trade Consortium, the Office of Miami-Dade County, which is a trade and international relations office of Miami-Dade County here in Florida. I want to thank you, Linar, from the Global Chamber for inviting us to be part of this exciting session about the tourism offer and opportunities in both markets, Miami and Brazil. Our office is pleased to support this event during Pride Month, which includes participation from some of our key economic development partners and ITC board members, such as the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau and the U.S. Commercial Service. Tourism and trade are really key pillars of our economy, and this event, which supports two-way tourism, certainly has a positive impact in the economic development in our county. And we're very happy because we feel that's a sector that we need to support strongly, especially now. Miami-Dade County is one of the most welcoming and inclusive and diverse metropolitan cities. More than half of our population is foreign-born. And because of this diversity and inclusiveness, our county continues to attract many LGBTQ visitors each year, as well as individual businesses and professionals that are seeking to relocate here in the area. Brazil and Miami have very strong trade and business ties. Brazil has been and continues to be our top trading partner. That's one of the reasons why Miami has taking 2 trade missions and business missions to Brazil. First, we went to Sao Paulo and Belo Horizonte, and the second time we went to Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. And both trips have been done in close collaboration with the Brazilian American Chamber of Commerce. We also have very strong ties at the government level with a sister city agreement with the city of Sao Paulo. And Miami, as many of you know, it's a home of a large Brazilian diaspora that contributes significantly to the economic growth of this community. Miami, as many of you are familiar with, is the cruise capital of the world. And, you know, with the test cruise recently done by Royal Caribbean last Tuesday, we expect the cruise industry to resume operations next month. I think Freedom of the Sea, you know, I saw on the news, it's scheduled to sail from Port Miami on July 2nd. And this would be the first Royal Caribbean cruise ship to resume operations from the United States. To conclude, I just want to mention that an event that might be an interest to our partners in the travel industry in Brazil, and that we're helping organize next year along with Miami International Airport, which is part of Miami-Dade County government. So Miami will host the World Travel Expo in May of 2022. And this is an expo that will support outbound routes and destinations, as well as business-to-business meetings between agents, tour operators, airlines, and tourism offices. And it would also include a roundtable of international ministers of tourism, and that's what we're working on right now. If anybody's interested in participating, I'll put my information in the chat, or you can visit the website or the World Travel Expo at www.worldtravelexpo.org. And I don't want to take more time of this exciting panel that's to come. Linar, I just want to revert back to you.
Thank you so much, Maria. And thank you for all that you do in ITC and for supporting this event. And now I'll turn this over to my colleague, Dan Rios. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you, Linnea. Good afternoon, everyone. So wonderful to gather with everyone here today. Happy Pride Month. My name is Dan Rios, and I am the Director of LGBTQ Marketing for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. We are the official destination marketing organization for Greater Miami and the beaches. And as such, we understand the importance of both the LGBTQ market as well as the Brazil market. Miami welcomes 1.2 million LGBTQ visitors every year, driving 1.7 billion in economic benefit. On the Brazil side, Brazil is our #1 international market. Clearly, 2020 has impacted those numbers, but we are looking forward to the future to welcome back visitors from Brazil. You know, visitors from Brazil we welcome nearly 500,000 every year. What we like is that their average spend is $2.5 thousand per visit. So we really appreciate the impact that it has on our local economy. 76% of Brazilian visitors stay in hotels, which is a little different than some other parts of Latin America where they actually come and stay with friends and family. So it additional benefit to our economy. And they love to shop. So we know that, Aventura Mall, Val Harbor shops, miss our Brazilian visitors. So moving along, I wanted to start the programming with our destinations flash chat. I'm going to be joined by Craig Smith, President of Source Events, and Clovis Casemiro, Membership Coordinator in Brazil for IGLTA, the International LGBTQ+ Travel Association. Welcome, gentlemen. I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourselves to our audience. So let's start with Craig.
Well, thank you, Dan. And just a big thanks to the Global Chamber and to the ITC for hosting this. It's a pleasure to be here. And as everybody said, happy Pride Month. So I'm Craig Smith. I'm the founder and president of Source Events. And it's a company that I founded 20 years ago to create luxury vacations and experiences for our LGBTQ community. And these experiences are about inspiring people to explore the world and also make a difference along the way. And what I'm most excited about is that this is our 20th anniversary, and that year kicks off on the ship that's behind me on the Wind Spirit in Tahiti. And I have some good news to share about travel, which I'll share in a bit about the comeback to travel.
Bom dia, boa tarde. I'm Clovis Casemiro. I'm in charge of the IGLTA members in Brazil, Portugal, and also I support the members in South America. We are very proud in Brazil to say that it's the second largest country with more members in IGLTA, just after the USA. And then we are missing Miami, believe me. Just say that we can go there. We take the first flight, believe me. I go to show a little bit about Brazil, and we have two friends. It's Vania from the Amazon and Ananda. She's in charge of the Ela Festival for Brazil. They go to give you more information during this seminar. Thank you, Linari. Thank you, Maria Dreyfus. Thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you.
No, thank you, Clovis. Thank you, Craig. And I will be there waiting at the airport for your plane to arrive, Clovis. So you can be assured of that. The first part of this chat we're going to break up in two parts. First, we're going to be talking to Craig more broadly about LGBTQ group travel, and then we'll be tuning in closely to Brazil. So Craig, let me start with you. Please talk to us about the importance and the benefits of group travel for the LGBTQ community.
Well, that's one of our specialties is doing, small group trips and then also more intimate trips. And our groups tend to be anywhere between, 10 and 20 travelers for small groups. And then our ships tend to be anywhere from 100 to 200 guests. And what we've learned from our LGBTQ plus travelers over the years is why they want to work with, a trusted travel advisor that's experienced in this industry. They're really looking for a safe space. They're looking for us to have done our homework and to have spoken with the properties, with the operators, with the guides, and make sure that they're all LGBTQ plus friendly. They don't want surprises. So I think that safety and security is of primary concern, when we're traveling. What we hear is that they want to go to LGBTQ plus friendly destinations like Brazil, like Miami, like Spain. Those are the ones that, people are really looking for so they don't have to worry.
Yeah, so safety really seems to be also, at the top of everyone's mind there. So same as all of the travel and tourism and hospitality industry, I'm sure Source Events has experienced changes due to the pandemic. Can you tell us more about some of the changes you've seen, both with planning and with customer experience since the pandemic?
Well, first I'll say that, and I think we've all been through this in travel. So, we've had 16 months for the most part where it's just taken a lot of resilience for all of us to wait this through. And the good news is that now, for the first time in 16 months, the phone is ringing, people are booking, and people are traveling. So we were the first group to travel to Morocco, and it just says something about the resilience of our travelers and their courage to be the first. When we arrived, we were greeted by our operator, A&K, and they said, "We've been waiting for you. You're the first to come." We had a police escort around the city of Casablanca. We were treated like dignitaries throughout Morocco. And even our guide said, look at the look of people's eyes as they open up the stores, look at their joy, their amazement, their smiles. So I have to say that, that we as a community can be very proud about being the first to come back. We've also in the last month had travelers do guerrilla treks in Rwanda, go on safaris in Kenya. And one of the things that I'm hearing is that people want to come back to travel, but they want it to be different. They're looking for authentic experiences. They're looking for immersive experiences. They want to connect more deeply with the culture. They don't want to do, cookie cutter tours, and they want to make a difference along the way. Our travelers in Kenya went to schools and they brought, laptops and iPads and supplies for, kids that were orphaned and HIV/AIDS affected by that. We saw in Morocco, we went to the American Fondue, and our travelers were very generous in supporting this veterinary clinic that saves the lives of animals and also of the people that own them, that rely on these working animals in Morocco. That's always been a theme for us giving back, but now we're hearing it more and more from our travelers. How can we make a difference? So that's very important. The other thing that we're seeing is that as travel advisors, they're trusting us to navigate these rules of COVID that are changing every day, every hour. What it is one day is not the next day. And they're looking to us, which tests do they take? When do they take it? What app do they need to upload the results? Where do they get this form? Where are they going to get the testing to get back in? And we're helping navigate them through that so that they know that we can travel safely and we can do that. I think that obviously the good news is that we see Europe opening. We see Tahiti has opened up safely. We see, they're a level 1 country now. So I think that there's more and more confidence, and as our country gets more vaccinated and more people do, the minute they call us. And even if they're not ready this year, they're certainly ready next year. So I see that as something that where that we can give them the confidence that they can travel safely by knowing the procedures, helping them, guide them through, and then in the case of our small group travel and our trips, our team is with them. So we're not leaving them alone. And then I think if we are booking them as FIT travelers and sending them over, it's very important that we be in touch with them on WhatsApp and be able to follow through and check in with them on a daily basis, given how these procedures can be changing, and always research and always be up to the minute on the latest, apps or technology or what they need to be able to make it to the next country.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've been hearing is that things change so very quickly. I mean, day to day, you will have to actually figure out a way of navigating. So I'm sure that brings a lot of comfort to your guests. So as you're talking about some of the experiences in Africa and Morocco, would love to hear more about the experiences you have planned for Source events, as well as some of the feedback from your customers as far as coveted destinations.
Right. Well, so what's exciting, all of our trips from 20 were of course put into 21 and 22. So what we have on taps for this summer, we actually have our first charter is in Tahiti. It's aboard the Wind Spirit behind me for 140 guests. We've timed this for a full moon celebration, which is kicking off our 20th year in Bora Bora with fire dancers. I have to say that Tahiti, this is our third cruise there. It has a lot of what people are looking for now, which I think Brazil has too. They want nature. They want to be outdoors. Nobody wants to be in like a crowded area. So when you see yourself on that ship and to be sailing through those beautiful islands, and the spirit and the hospitality of the people, that Polynesian hospitality, that's I think what people are looking at. They want to get in the water. They want to relax. They want to dance again, and they want to take off their masks. So I think that these are things that what I'm hearing from people is like they're ready. Then we have these trips that are bucket list destinations. Partnering with Belmont, I'm on their LGBT advisory board, and Belmont has made a big jump by taking the whole train, the whole iconic Orient Express train for the LGBTQ plus community from Venice to Paris, and doing a dinner at the Cipriani. This is something that's an extraordinary bucket list experience for those that love train travel. It's the romance of train travel going from Venice to Paris, and then we're going to be doing some tours of Paris. Then we've had a lot of requests for Egypt over the years. We've decided this is the year. After 15 years, the new Grand Egyptian Museum is opening. It's going to be the largest single museum devoted to one culture. All the antiquities of King Tut will be on display for the first time in history. And it's opening at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We're going to be among the first travelers to see it. And we see that as a destination that people are going to want to go back to, again. And I think, again, with these more exotic destinations that we do see that people want it to be hosted. They want to know that this has been advanced. They want to know that the operators know that we're the LGBTQ community, that we're welcome, even if the particular governments might not be that friendly, that we've done our homework. And then, what we're looking for is that we are planning on 2022 being one of the biggest years ever. We're finishing off our 20th anniversary year with a tall ship sailing on the Amalfi Coast in Italy, with a party under Stromboli erupting as we sailed past that. We're sailing on a brand new ship from Athens to Istanbul. We'll be going afterwards to do the hot air balloons in Cappadocia, and then doing several trips, in Africa, going back to Morocco. I think one of the things that we've learned is that sometimes our guests, are ahead of us. We were thinking of doing Antarctica maybe a few years down the road, but our guests said they were ready when we did one of our travel talks aboard, and lo and behold, the next year we had 50 people going to Antarctica, and we're looking at doing our first Antarctic charter, in 2 years from now, based on the demand. So I think it's just really important that we listen to our travelers for destinations. They're guiding us along with what we're passionate about. But I do feel that given our connection being here in Miami, I think Brazil is on the tops of a lot of travelers' lists. They want to go to Brazil. And I think it's for up to us as travel advisors to develop those experiences for our travelers, particularly in the groups, especially when it can be tied in with special events and things going on already, whether that be Pride or Carnival or New Year's. I think all those sort of things give added value, and we find that everybody's requesting that. So we're very excited about the future, very optimistic, and I think I think for all the travel advisors and everybody that's members of IGLTA, I think it's going to be a tremendous family reunion and celebration when we get to Atlanta. You know, for everything that we've been through, we're all survivors. And like one of our travelers said, and I think it was completely correct, he said, Craig, when you sail on that ship in Tahiti after coming back from nothing, it's like a phoenix rising. It's like you've come back out of the ashes. And I think that's true for us, but I think it's true for the whole travel industry. We really come back. It really is a story like a phoenix rising.
Thank you. That was beautifully put. And yeah, some of those experiences sound absolutely amazing. I would love to book myself in every single one, but we'll see what I can do. So let's turn it over to Clovis. You know, I wanted to ask some questions about IGLTA. Clovis, talk to us about some of the work you've been conducting since the pandemic and the impact it has had on Brazilian members of IGLTA.
Yeah, that was not so easy. Since the, let's say, March 2020, April, we in IGLTA, we start to talk with our members. We open a channel once a week to talk with the members. In Brazil, we did the same. We have a beautiful group in WhatsApp. I know that maybe in US you don't use so much, but in Brazil, WhatsApp for us is very important. That's the way I and Vanya and Ananda, we have the communication. We can spread the word quickly. Was not so easy for us than during this year and a half, but it's incredible that when Craig said that we are really looking for the future. During those months, we had a lot of new members in Brazil. We have hotels, we have travel agents, we have tour operators that start to be a IGLTA member, just to look for the LGBT community. Because as you said, the survey, we had 2 surveys in IGLTA, and both surveys, they say that we want to travel LGBT. We need to know the protocols. We need to know how safe it is. And Craig, you said it's the same in Brazil. People are looking for nature, beaches, the Amazon, the Pantanal that is in the middle of Brazil, that is beautiful. We are working hard with the local market. That's another point that is very important for us. The Brazilian local market is really strong. Of course, São Paulo, Curitiba, and cities that work with events and corporate market, of course, it's a little bit less, of course. But when you talk about Rio de Janeiro, Salvador, Recife, Fernão de Noronha, our island, most of the hotels, if they are not 100%, they are 80%, 70%, is working very well. In São Paulo, for example, we have beaches 1 hour and 2 hours from São Paulo, from the capital. We can go to the beaches, and the beaches with the hotels, resorts, they are working very well with the Brazilian market, of course. But also Brazilian, we are going to US through Mexico, as I think you know. We can stay in Mexico for 2 weeks, and then we can go to US. And then we have a lot of tour operators that are offering this Mexico-US together as a package. That is very interesting too.
That is very interesting. And so you have something to share with us that you wanted to
Yes, I just brought some slides just to make it easy, and 2 films, no more than an hour. You'll be okay. I'm so proud to say that Brazil is, as I said, the second largest country with more members in IGLTA. We are doing a beautiful job here. We have a good connection with big companies. And I'm proud to say that we have Latam Airlines and also Go Airlines. You know, both they have a lot of flights around South America and Brazil, and they are our member. That's, of course, Delta. It's our big partner. This relationship with the US and inside the country is very strong. Okay, Cesar, let's go to the next one. As you see, as you know, Brazil is really big. We are 220 million people. And talking about our LGBT market, we say that we are from 18 to 22 million of people. If you have 40% of these people going to Miami, it's a lot of people then, believe me. In IGLTA, we have our travel guide to Brazil with all the information. And also for other countries, we have those different travel guides with information about destination, hotels, where to go, what to do. Okay, Cesar, the next one, please. I start with the Amazon because as Greg said us, we are looking for nature. It's really strong. Also for the Brazilian market, we are moving to, we have a place that we call Jalapão. It's a little bit difficult for American people, but it's a beautiful nature area in Brazil. We have the Pantanal, that also another beautiful area. And Vana, you go to tell you a little bit more about Amazons. Next, please. I just choose some destination just to talk about Brazil. Of course, São Paulo, it's our big capital, is the big city in South America. And also we have the largest Pride Parade in South America. Last 2019 was about 3 million people. And we got about $100 million with taxes and imposts from the tourists. The Pride Parade for São Paulo is the largest event. It's bigger than the Carnival and it's bigger than the Formula One, just for you have an idea about this. And Cesar, of course, you go to Rio de Janeiro. We have a Copacabana and Ipanema pictures here. This is the destination that it's like old of, how can I say, it's a long time with the LGBT market. 1998, we had the first IGLTA meeting in Rio de Janeiro, and we did not stop from more than 20 years now. We have a short film that would you like to ask Cesar to show us, please?
I think that the Sao Paulo parade is the largest in the world, and if I'm not mistaken, the largest Pride parade. So
yeah, but with the New York 2019, you
because it was Pride of the Americas, yeah.
America one,
yeah,
was really big. That was the word Pride, and also that's one of the reasons. In Brazil, we can say now that the beaches are open. Of course, for restaurants, we have kind of different times in different regions in Brazil, because as the country is so big, we need to have information day a day. It's very difficult to say that Belo Horizonte is open, Fortaleza is open. We need to wait a little bit more. Oops. Greg, I know you know this song.
Can you see the video, Clovis?
No, not yet.
Yeah, no, I'm having trouble. Sorry, let me try to see. It seems like the file is protected and it's not allowing me to share it. But let's continue with the presentation. I'm going to try to find a way then afterwards.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's go to the next
Perfect.
slide. It's about a new destination in Brazil that we are starting to work only 2 months ago, Pipa Beach. Pipa Beach is located on the northeast of Brazil. It's a beautiful area with beaches, and we are working very hard with the LGBT market now. We have a new Accor hotel. It's a beautiful Mac Gallery collection hotel in Pipa, very beautiful. And Preserve Pipa is the Pipa CVB, and they have a beautiful film. I don't know if you can. Let's try this one, Cesar.
Yeah, it's having the same problem. It worked with, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm gonna keep trying and see if by the end of the event we can show them.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We can share. Also, we can share later with the people. Okay, done.
Perfect.
That's what you have from
Yeah.
Brazil, and it's a country that we have so many different culture, gastronomy,
Yeah.
from nature to big cities like São Paulo or Curitiba.
Yeah, it's just great. That's what the great variety of the offerings in Brazil. It's really what makes it a very attractive place. And it's actually one of the things that we've been highlighting in Miami as well, because a lot of us are known for our beaches and our cosmopolitan flair, but we also have these 2 national parks that are part of the county. We're the only county in the United States that has 2 national parks, and so it provides that diversity of experiences. But I know that Brazil has had several difficulties regarding vaccination and entire COVID protocol. How was LGBTQ tourism during that time?
It was our internal local market with the LGBT Brazilian traveling in Brazil. With our members, with the hotels member and the tour operators, we try to sell, short destination from your house. The idea is don't travel more than 3 hours by plane, for example. Don't drive more than 5 hours. This kind of consideration we are offering to the tourists. We did not stop done, to be honest. The process was very hard. It was not easy for us. But we are traveling with the safety, all the safety protocols that we have. Hotels in Brazil, we don't have that problem, because hotels in Brazil, they are very professional. Of course, the deluxe hotels, but also the standard hotels, they had a good protocols, and this did not affect us too much, to be honest.
Great. And tell us about some of the big events that you have planned in Brazil for the LGBTQ plus community.
All right. I just brought here some information about our tour operators, like a visual tourism that I think you guys know a lot in Miami, and also Diversa Turismo. And those kind of example of offers for Brasilia. We have the first one with the 2 guys is south of Brazil, that is to go to the winter area, let's say this. In the middle, we have the Radisson hotels in Rio. They came with a beautiful campaign for LGBT people. And I brought this Spotify for you guys with some bossa nova music that I go to share later for you. Because music is
thank you
important.
So much.
Music is so important.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It looks beautiful clothes. Thank you so much, Craig.
Thank you.
So we would like to continue the presentation with our guest, Zach Lombardi of Expedia Group. Zach is a senior growth marketing manager in the lodging division at Expedia Group, and is responsible for building the LGBTQ plus welcoming lodging supply that fuels inventory on Orbitz and Expedia points of sale. Please join me in welcoming Zach Lombardi.
Hey, Dan, thanks for the welcome. Sorry to be a little late to the party, time zone mix-ups, but yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for the invite back. This is an awesome topic. So I have some slides to share. Is it okay if I go ahead and share my screen?
Yes, cool. Go ahead, yeah.
All right, let's do. And let me know if you can see these. Cool. So yeah, my name is Zach Leonardi. I am an integrated campaigns manager at Expedia Group inside the lodging division. And something I've been working on for the last couple of years is LGBTQ travel. This is a really exciting space for Expedia Group. We've been working on it for about a year as a working group with business backing. So here to give you a quick update on kind of what that is and why we are catering to this community and creating inclusive travel. So to kick it off, we started sourcing hotel inventory for properties who are considering themselves LGBTQ welcoming, meaning that they have committed to welcoming and non-discrimination of this community. On the left, for example, you can see a flyer that speaks to this that partners are receiving with tips and tricks for what exactly does that mean and what does it look like. The campaign to solicit inventory hotels who can check this box and then be displayed on our sites as LGBTQ welcoming had huge engagement, a really desired amenity attraction for properties. So we have massive coverage in over 100 countries. In some of our core markets, there's significant volume where travelers can indicate they're looking for this type of property and then be displayed properties where they know they can travel with their partner or with an LGBTQ child or their family and not have any concerns, because discrimination on site is, it's a point of apprehension and concern for a lot of travelers. So the campaign to source inventory was hugely successful. And then Orbitz, which is one of our Expedia Group brands, they have pivoted to serve LGBTQ travel kind of as their core value proposition. So we're really excited for the work Orbitz has done. And so the next slide has a video, and I'm going to play that quickly. I'm going to try and share my screen. Orbitz launched an incredible campaign called Travel As You Are, which is geared to consumers, letting people know that no matter who they are, who they love, they are welcome. And that's, it's a really important message for travelers right now, but it's a great recovery strategy. So for our lodging partners who list their properties on Expedia Group, we are helping generate demand and we are bringing new travelers to their door. So I'm going to show you what the Travel As You Are campaign looks like. It's a 1:30 long video, and it's so exciting for us. It's incredible imagery. It's it's an awesome piece of collateral. So I'm going to quickly show that for you. All right, can you see the video? Okay. Audio sometimes glitchy, so bear with me.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display, 'cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'll never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be free. And I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do whatever I feel.
Cool. I hope you all enjoyed that video as much as I enjoy every time I see it. I think it's a beautiful piece of marketing and something that I'm very proud of, for Expedia Group. You can watch it yourself, just YouTube Travel As You Are. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this campaign just to highlight what we are doing in the LGBTQ travel space, especially relevant for Miami and Brazil. Those are hot destinations for this audience. So lodging partners, feel free to continue to sign up if you are inclusive of this community. We, for example, filmed that whole video in Miami, so supporting local industry, lots of hotels, lots of cast and production. So doing our part to help recover travel. Just a few notes on some of the campaign collateral that we have in market. So this is a huge digital push. LGBTQ travelers are, they are online first. This is a digital audience. So we have 10 LGBTQ massive influencers who are promoting traffic to the Orbit site, also encouraging, we have a kind of an Orbucks giveaway where if you book an LGBTQ travel hotel that's listed on our site, these properties, you get some cash to spend on Orbits. So that's an awesome campaign. And then obviously the collateral with this Travel As You Are initiative, lots of imagery, lots of video that is blasting across social media and being promoted as well. So really great coverage. And then on the right, what does it mean if a property, indicates LGBTQ welcoming? How do they get found? How do they get displayed? Well, there's a few different ways. So I've pasted a few of them here, but it is largely, it's landing pages and it's filters. So if you search on Orbits, and also if you search on Expedia.com, you can indicate you're looking for an LGBTQ friendly property, and all the searches, all the properties that display will be filtered. So it's really simple to find properties who are welcoming. And then there's also tiles with hot destinations, so you can find, if you're in Miami, granted, lots of properties LGBTQ welcoming, so it's not hard to find any there, but we have 25 or 50 different locations that you can click and find. And then also lots of content helping people find corners of the US or places in small towns where they can find bars and find boutique properties, just to help us become a thought leader in the space and make sure that people know that inclusive travel is very much a thing and we are a part of it. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Feel free to email me with any questions about the program. And if you are a partner with Expedia Group and want to be included in this marketing, feel free to go into Partner Central and select LGBTQ welcoming and property amenities.
Thank you, Zach. I have to say, on a personal note, as an LGBTQ person and a traveler, that outreach really touches me and is beautifully executed. Congratulations on that. So let's continue with our LGBTQ plus destination. We'll turn it over back to Linaire Robbins to continue with the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's a great pleasure to introduce the following speakers from both Miami and Brazil, who will be talking about the cultural events that they are involved with producing in their regions and how it helps the social and economic infrastructures there. Here with us today are Ananda Pucha, the country director of EA Brazil, Vanya Cabral, owner of Cabral Expeditions, Paul Thomas, board member of Miami Beach Pride, and Jonathan Casanas, board member of Forward Miami, that produces the Gay Ocho Festival, who is also the stage manager of the Gay Ocho Festival. So I'd like to go around and give each of you the opportunity to talk about the events and programs that you're involved with, and also share how it helps your local community or region in terms of social and economic infrastructure. So if we could start with Jonathan.
Sure.
Yes, you just tell us about the Gay Ocho Festival, what you do, and how you really create impact. Thank you.
Sure. So happy Pride, everyone. So I sit on the board of Forward Miami. We're the producers of Gay Ocho Festival. And Gay Ocho Festival really came about because we felt that there was a need really to create not only economic growth within our community, but also to create more of a really diverse and inclusive environment. As we know, Miami is very much a melting pot, but we do feel like we are still segregated, very much so. And even though we are 64% Latino, I think is the number now, and mostly Cuban Americans, we do kind of stick to ourselves. We have the Haitian community here, we have the Cuban community here, the Nicaraguan community here. So we really wanted to create something to blur those lines. We wanted something to bring down those walls between neighborhoods and create something where everyone would be together when otherwise they wouldn't be. So that's how Gay Ocho Festival became about. It's an art, music, dance, food, and cultural street festival. It happens in Little Havana on the famous Calle Ocho Street. It spans 3 to 4 city blocks. And because it is a historic epicenter of Gay Ocho, we really wanted to continue bringing that Latino Hispanic vibe and culture. We really wanted to push and continue that representation of our ancestors, of our brothers and sisters before us that have migrated here from other parts of the community of the world, and really create a safe place for us to dance and be together. So this festival it has many different elements. It has anything from a dance party, it has food vendors, it has DJs from international DJs from around the world. We even play films. We have a theater that we partner with, the Tower Theater there, where we play international films where you can take a break, get out of the sun, and really immerse yourself in a film that may or may not be inclusive to our theme, because we always have a social theme as well. And I know it's very weird to say that, but because we want to bring awareness to these communities, we really want to make it seem where you're learning something while you're partying. So interestingly enough, a lot of what we do is, maybe one year we did gun violence. So while you were dancing on the big screens, we would put out a number or some sort of factoid as to how our region has been affected by gun violence. More than that, we really want to stimulate the economy. So a lot of what our festival does is not only bring money to the economy, as a lot of our producers are local, but we also stimulate the economy by putting money back into these vendors, not only these street vendors, but also these retailers. So we continue on in that path. We were affected last year. We actually missed our festival this February, not last year, this year, but we continue on the growth by bringing awareness in the other ways as Ford Miami continues to do a podcast. We now moved on into the video streaming world, where we have a Ford Miami show, where we continue to create talks about highlighting, personal matters or social influences, like we've had just recently, where we talked about the divide between African Americans, the BLM matters, and then we also talk about trans issues. So we continue on in that growth, but really what we want to do here at Gay Ocho is continue to create a safe space for people in the LGBTQ world, specifically the Hispanic and Latino environment. So that's a little bit about Gay Ocho.
That sounds wonderful, Jonathan. I put in the chat the website address for Gay Ocho.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll have more questions for you momentarily. We're going to hear from Vanya Cabral now, owner of Cabral Expeditions.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy being here with you. And I'm natural from São Paulo, but I raised in Manaus with my family, right? And then I work with my own company, with Cabral Expeditions, and we have different tours that we can show all the Amazon for everyone, right? And we have LGBT packets that we can make into the jungle with the jungle lodge, right? In the city also, okay? And sorry, I'm a little nervous. And what else? How we can help the local people with our working, right? For example, I'm telling about our lodge, the Evolution Eco Lodge. All the people work with us, they are from the community into the jungle. And we bring all the clients to see the Amazon, we can help them with this, right? And we have the boats, we have the private expeditions by boat. We can make a cruise into the jungle, like a private couple or families, LGBT. And we also have the Presidente Figueiredo is the city of the waterfalls, where we have another hotel there. And we can make the best excursions with everybody, with all protocols we can follow. And we have about the festivals here, we have very one famous, I don't know if you hear about the Festival of Parintins that happens every year here in the Amazon, right? In the Parintins, a small town into the jungle. And in this festival, we have a lot of LGBT people, the local people, and from all over the world coming in that time for the festival. It's like a carnival, you know. It's a very, very amazing festival that happens every year. And another festival that we have here is for fishing. We make up tours with fishing tours, and that happens in Barcelos, this festival also. And where else? Where else do you want to know?
I just put in the chat the website. So we're hoping we'll get some questions from the audience later.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be asking you some more questions.
Okay.
And did you want to tell us anything else about some of the attendees that book your tours? Do you get a big LGBTQ population?
Here in Manaus, we receive a lot of people from LGBT, from Brazilian also, right? And we have all this, how can I say? We have a lot, Clovis, help me, please. Eu não entendi, tá me ouvindo, Clovis?
Tô.
Eu não entendi, ela quer saber o quê?
Como você faz o atendimento? Como é que é receber os teus clientes LGBTs aí?
Ah, tá. Entendi. We receive our clients here like a normal people, you know. We don't have difference. I'm LGBT also, so we don't have problem with this. We have places, sure, that it's only for LGBT people, like bars and nightlives. And we have other places that's only friendly places that we can go. But here in Manaus, I believe in Brazil, we have very good places, friendly places, right, that we can receive. And how I told you before, we have packets only for private, like for example, a cruise. We have a private cruise for family LGBT. You can stay with your family or with your friends on your own boat with everything included, right? And we have like at the hotel, for example, we have a friendly share, right? And everybody stay together. And this for us is normal, no problem. We receive everybody very well.
That sounds wonderful, and definitely a environmentalist and a nature lover's paradise. So looking forward to hearing more about your service a little bit later. We'll move to Paul Thomas now from Miami Beach Pride.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see everyone today, and happy Pride. My name is Paul Thomas, and I'm on the board of directors of Miami Beach Pride. And I have been on the board for, I think, about 6 years now. And Miami Beach Pride is the largest event in Miami Beach, which I find really interesting because we hear, you know, there's always an event going on in Miami Beach and they all seem so big. And it's pretty amazing to me that the largest event that we have is actually the Pride event. where we can have, you know, over 150,000 people in one space at a time, and a safe space. And I want to also point out, listening to Jonathan speak about Gay 8, I was reminded that Miami Beach Pride is on year 12, I believe. And so when we talk about diversity and inclusion, I think it's really important to remember that it's only been 12 years that Miami Beach had a Pride. I'm from New York. And so I've been going to Prides in New York for, I don't know, 34 years, you know? And when I arrived here, I was shocked that I was invited to a Pride and it was very small. And I'm happy to say that in a short amount of time, it has grown exponentially to become the largest event on the beach, and really, really exciting to be a part of it always. Of course, it has to be an absolute safe space for everyone. And it really is for everyone. And our big challenge is, because we're on the beach and we're on the island, a lot of people on the mainland feel very separated from Miami Beach Pride. And so I'm the chairman of the philanthropy committee, and what I do pre-COVID is I normally, in my travels around Miami-Dade County, I kind of bring pride to areas that don't feel like the pride is for them. It really hurts my heart when I hear people say, you know, it looks exciting, but I didn't think I could go. And my thing is to figure out, how do I convey to people or give people the space to understand that it's for everyone. And I mean everyone, to come and be whoever they are for a day, for an hour, for a couple of hours, just to take a break and have some fun, you know, and hopefully meet some new friends and find some community. We were severely impacted by COVID in 2020 because all of Miami-Dade and the world shut down about 3 weeks before we were supposed to have Pride. And then 2021, we were still not allowed to gather. So we haven't been able to have basically 2 Prides. And so what the city's done is they're allowing us to have a Pride in September. So we'll be having a Pride in a couple of months. Hopefully Clovis can make it up to come to Pride. Hopefully by then the travel is open between Brazil and, and you can come and hang out. We're hoping to have a good turnout. It's not our normal time of the year. And it's also rainy season here. So we have some weather concerns, but you know what? We're gonna do the best that we can, and we're gonna put on a Pride. We go back to our regularly scheduled calendared event in 2022 in the first week of April. Every year it's the first week of April. And so we're really looking forward to getting back into, I guess, the Pride. There's something about Pride when I speak to, and every year this has happened to me, having this Pride here, where I meet people from Miami-Dade County mostly, who are like, you know, I came to see if this was real. I didn't know if this was real. I didn't really know that there was a place that I can go. Kids 18, I call them kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, college kids, were like, this is my first time being in an environment like this. And this is amazing. And to see that look on their faces, those big, huge smiles and these big, huge eyes of wonder. There's no better feeling in the world for me to see people find themselves in that space and then feel that energy and that acceptance and that freedom to be themselves in the moment. So everyone else, of course, is invited, not just Clovis. I was teasing Clovis, but Vania, we would love for you to come and talk to us more in September. And hopefully maybe get to meet Maria. You know, you can come across the MacArthur, right? You're close.
Thank you, Paul.
But that's it. Thank you, everyone.
That sounds wonderful. And so also we have Ananda Pucha, the country director for EA Brazil, and she'll talk to us about that expanding festival that I understand started in Mallorca, Spain, went on to Davos, Switzerland, Costa Rica, Colombia, and now is coming to Brazil.
Exactly. Thank you, Linaire, for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for the invitation. I'm really, really happy to be here with you all to share a little bit more about Ella Global Community and how we are building up our community here in Brazil. So as Linaire already told us, Ella Festival starts in Mallorca with our CEO, Christine Hansen, in 2005. And from that on, the festival goes around the world. And this year, actually, we'll have also Mexico included. But as you may all imagine, for the Brazilian situation that we have here right now with the COVID and all the difficulties that the market is having and facing, we decided that next year will be really premature to start with the festival. Since we came to Brazil in 2021, and we need to, pave the way so we can strongly have one of the best made festivals for queer women and non-binary people in the country. So we understand that for our community, we don't have any event that is really niched and thought about for queer women and for non-binary people. Of course, we have the largest Pride Parade of the world in São Paulo. We have many parties and other specific places to go visiting and touring amongst family and friends, but we still lack a place or a party or a festival that could combine all the complexity of the community, especially with this intersectionality of queer women and non-binary people, but also give a large knowledge of our social complexity, our economic complexity, and be the place where queer women and non-binary people can unite together and network and innovate and rise up as a community together. So the Ella Festival it's thought to be this place, and it would be really irresponsible for us due to the COVID times to start right away with no security measures and an economic that we don't know how it's going to be after everything reopens. So for us, and especially around security, and as we are talking about queer women and non-binary people, and Clovis told you in the beginning that I was part of the Supreme Court case of criminalization of LGBTQ phobia here in Brazil. This is a concern that we all have, to have the security measures where queer women and non-binary people can really feel safe and be themselves and party together, but not just partying, discussing our reality, making business together, networking together, innovating together. So some of the pillars that Ella Global has is Ella Families, and also Elis Trans for trans people, and also Ella Pro. So we have those alongside the festival. Those three pillars are the ones that north us to the way of inclusion and diversity for our community. So we tend to think everything that we do and all our actions, especially now online, in an online basis, how can we work to be this stage where our community in Brazil go into and can be heard, can be welcomed, and can feel that they belong, really. So our strategic plan for now is to build and be strong within this community throughout Brazil, being a huge and enormous country, having different cultures all over states. So as Vanya said, she's she's upside Amazonia, and I'm here downside Curitiba in the south. And also wanna really thank her to bring up Presidente Figueiredo, because it's one of the one of the cities and the touristic parts that my family really loves. My family comes from Acre, really next to you, so it's really nice to know that you have packets for LGBTQ community there. But yeah, you know, it's so complex and so large for us to map and know all the needs of our community. Then that now we are working on that. Now we are working on hearing and connecting with them, and hearing what are their needs, not only for tourism, but also to economic building, to actually business relations and small, and how can we provide the possibility to grow together the small business earned by queer women and non-binary people. That being said, I want to highlight with you our presence online right now. So our Instagram account is holding up not only the information that we are developing and sharing with the audience, but also the events that we are holding. So the first one we had in May was with Monica Benicio and Jacqueline de Jesus, aiming to talk a little bit more about the Ida Hobbit Day. And we just got in June for Pride, Daniela Mercury and Malu Versosa, which are two a really like special couple in Brazil. Daniela Mercury, as most of you can know, is one of the biggest singers of Axé music here in Brazil. She was one of the first famous people to come out as lesbian, and her partner Malu Versosa is a really well-known journalist that was with us. But we also had a non-binary person, Niki Nagari, and Yakekan Potiguara, a lesbian woman, an indigenous woman, and from Ceará, from the northeast of Brazil. So this event combined all the intersectionality that we want to tackle with our work, and that we want to highlight actually for all the community that we have here in Brazil. So we see and we talk about the LGBTQ community in general with the lenses of queer women and non-binary people, and that's the most beautiful thing that I could ever say to you, that inspires me every day to go to work and to think about this festival that can be a really safe space and happy place for everybody that can that wants to join us in this festivity and in this fight as well. So thank you again, and yeah, let's hear the questions.
Thank you so much, Ananda. And I'm glad that you brought up COVID and some of the challenges that your organization has been facing, and in your region. We've all had different challenges that we've faced with different solutions. So it's great for all of us to be here today to compare these stories and maybe spin ideas and definitely find room to collaborate. That's our main purpose of this forum today, is to build relationships and collaborations. And so I'd like to go around and just ask everyone how the pandemic has impacted your event or program, and what you're planning to do in this post-pandemic timeframe, or during the pandemic still, but ultimately getting to that post-pandemic timeframe. And then also, as Craig Smith mentioned earlier, just the sense of what people want has shifted a bit to where people are really craving the experience, and they want to find meaning in travel. They want to find meaning in the events that they patron. I think we're going to find people are just going to be more selective because of that. And this panel here today, all of you have always been doing these type of events. You've always incorporated the meaning behind it. I know with IGLTA, their annual conference always has a volunteer component. I know with Geoid show, there has been programming involving Vizcaya, doing things surrounding climate action, Miami Beach Pride, beach cleanups, and then certainly with the ELA program in Brazil, and also what Vanya Cabral is doing up in the Amazon. It's just incredible. So if we can go around and talk about this topic and maybe how you foresee collaborations taking place. How can we get together and really keep this momentum going? So we'll start with back to Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks, Lynette. I mean, yeah, we were definitely affected by the pandemic. We were actually one of the last festivals to happen before we went into lockdown. So we were lucky in that sense. But obviously, once the year rolls over, we realized, funding obviously wasn't there for us. And a lot of, our revenue stream, obviously, through these types of partnerships and sponsorships were no longer there. In turn, we decided not to have the festival this year, not only because of the pandemic, but also because we were going to interfere with other festivals like Miami Beach Pride, like Stonewall, like Fort Lauderdale, and even Wilton Manor. So we were going to push it back later, but obviously given the clash, we're not doing it this year. So fortunately for organizations like Miami Beach Pride, who were maybe gonna miss a second one, they get to do it later in the year, so we didn't want to interfere. What we decided to do instead was try to build a virtual presence. We really wanted to be relevant, stay within our wheelhouse, try to give back in the way that we could. So through the pandemic, we really tried to yes, bring awareness for what was happening here in Miami. One, because people still didn't believe in global warming and sea rise levels here, which we addressed with the mayor on our podcast and our Forward Miami show. And we want to be a part of that as well, not only for the LGBTQ community, but for the entire South Florida community, as a whole. We've been a part of this community in many different ways, but just showcasing how we were able to facilitate this type of help and assistance for the community, not only for the LGBT community, but a group that is sponsored by the LGBTQ community to provide assistance for the entirety of the group, I thought meant a lot to us. What we plan on doing, as Craig said, people were really wanting to get back to normal. So we decided after our virtual endeavors is to really kind of go back to these events, bring people some satisfaction and coming out safely. So we did a Thursday party called Despojo, really catered to women, but open to all. There in the heart of Little Havana. We've also moved forward with a tea dance, a very safe tea dance on Sundays, catered to Latinos, in the Latino, but open to all as well. And we're now trying to get in the gist by helping other organizations to create those relationships flourish, like Fort Lauderdale Pride, which we have a great relationship with. But we really wanted to get back to normal. We don't think that it's going to be normal, but we are continuing on in the process to have our festival in February. So we're going to get back to that. But I think our chairman really created a good model on how to create a safe festival from scratch and how to create a community or an event that will definitely, that you would feel that diversity, you would feel that inclusiveness, and you feel that safeness. So I think what we can give to Brazil, what we can provide really are those relationships, that model on how to build from scratch. Obviously, we have the same differences and we have the similarities in these types of issues where we are not all the same. We are still dealing with the abuse. We're still dealing with these issues that we have been dealing with 50 years ago. And I think what's happening here in Miami is a testament to growth and us being able to really push through, the minds of the ancient, right? The minds of people who don't want to progress and continue to grow. And hopefully we can provide that model to those who are trying to grow in that way. So I don't know, I think things are changing, but I think it's going to be slow. And I think hopefully Miami Beach Pride will kick that off to be honest. I think it's going to be we'll see, right? We'll see how Miami Beach Pride does, and then hopefully that'll be a sign as to how we're going to do in February. So
That sounds great. Thank you, Jonathan. And if you can share your email in the chat, that way anyone on our Brazilian counterparts can contact you to ask you about that model that your chairman created. Thank you. So next, if we can go back to Vanya and find out how you've been doing during the pandemic and how it's impacted you and what you're creating for sustainability.
Since last year, everything stopped for us when it begins the pandemic. And we have the opportunity to receive more Brazilian people because they travel only inside the country, right? But now, most of everyone here, they get the vaccinated to the coronavirus, and now most of our staff, they get vaccinated already. So how we receive about 70% of international people, we are beginning slowly receiving now. So I think 22, 23, we're gonna receive everybody. Everybody can come here, but we are working with all protocols, and we can see a new future again for us.
That sounds wonderful. And in terms of collaborations, how do you see an ideal scenario, or what type of help would you need from Miami counterparts, or how can we work together?
We from Miami, we have flights, direct flights from Miami to Manaus, that we fly only 4 hours direct here. That I think is a good reason to come here to visit us. And the people from Manaus, I'm talking about only the local people here, travel a lot to Miami. They love Miami. So we have flights, and I think it's a good reason for everyone come here. So it will be more easy. I just received a message. The flight will return, just a moment, in November now, this year, November. So we can share the people coming more for us, and the people from here go to Miami also.
Yeah.
And we have how I told you before, we have the Festival of Parentings, but we have the gay parade here also every year. So Manaus is a very nice city. The local people is very, very, how can I say, friendly. Our culture is amazing. We have our brochure. I hope everybody can see. And our gastronomy is very, very good. We have, I don't know, most of the people who likes fish, we love our food, right?
Well, that sounds fantastic. And thank you for the information on the flight, direct flights to that region.
We used to have with American Airlines and LATAM, but LATAM is not coming soon. I think American Airlines will be more easy to come.
Well, that sounds great. If you could please include your email in the chat, that way anyone here in Miami can contact you. Thank you so much. And now we'll find out from Paul Thomas the same question, how COVID has impacted Miami Beach Pride. We did hear about the festival coming back, to maybe focus on collaborations on how we can work together between the regions.
Yes, just real quick, we switched to a virtual model like most people did, right? And we had a Pride virtually. It is not the same, and like I was saying before, the part for me is that's so enriching for me as a person in this community is to have that space for people that don't have that safety and security to come to. And you can't do that virtually. We got to a point where we just stopped having events online because it was a lot of work and effort, and we weren't reaching our objectives. So we're so happy to be back in person. And Jonathan, we're gonna do it for you. Every hour of the day, things change. The mayor calls, he's like, you can do this. Then he calls 15 minutes later. He's like, no, you can't do that anymore. You can do it. Well, that's okay. We're just rolling with the punches. We're staying flexible. We'll like do, you know, we're ready. We're ready. We're gonna be giving out vaccines for free at the festival, and we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on to let people feel safe, and so that they can have a good time. Collaborations. I'm so looking forward to all of you who are a part of this today to collaborate with. One beautiful thing, as you all know about Miami and Miami Beach, is that it's this tiny little global city that really reaches every corner of the world. And so it gives us an opportunity. When you collaborate with us, you're also like collaborating with the rest of the world. Everything that happens, it's amazing. Everything that happens in Miami Beach. Everybody around the world knows what's going on in Miami Beach. But that's also the beautiful thing about it, right? And so I'm open to so many, I like to get creative. We've been focusing a lot on social justice. We actually had an event at the Soho House here in Miami Beach. I think you were there, Jonathan. A social justice night, you know, on the rooftop so that we could have a safe event. It was very well attended. Soho House has reached out to us and they're begging us to come back and do more of that. People felt like they learned a lot. We were talking about non-binary and pronouns, and we had our trans community members speaking, and there were people that worked there who were like, I have never ever heard this information before in my life. I'm so glad you taught me this. Can you come back and teach me more? Like, we want to know more. So we do have, leading up to the big Pride Festival, just so that all of you are aware, for different ways that we can collaborate and connect, we have like 10 days of events leading up to the weekend festival. So we have a social justice night. We have a night where we raise the pride flag. It's our event with all the politicians, with the mayor and the commissioners. Thales, you had reached out to me. Consul generals come to that all the time. Every year I have at least 5 consul generals who come to the flag raising. We have our fun events like Miss Miami Beach Pride, and then we have our serious events like social justice. We have this year a Vogue Ball. Of course, we have our VIP event, which, you know, everyone can attend. I'm sure Zach would fit in perfect in the VIP event. He just seems like he'd be able to work that crowd really well. Leading up to our big beach festival. And so there aren't any limits, really. We're super open to anything that we can do to help, realizing that we have a special type of a platform. Ananda, you were talking about kind of elevating the Ella, you know, doing that from Miami really elevates that in a broad way to a lot of different places at one time. So, and we're always looking for ways to collaborate more with women's events. And so we'd be very open to any and all ideas that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. And so now turning it back to Ananda and to talk about collaborations, and you have such deep history as being an organizer. So if you could talk to us about how a collaboration would look to you, and just really the important parts to focus on between the regions. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Paul, count on us, whatever you need. Yeah, so the festival, we already know where we are going to make it in 2023, actually. So it's going to be in Rio for sure. not only because of the city that is beautiful and it's stunning and has a lot of places to go, but also because of Monica. Monica Benicio was the person that connected us and made this connection between Ela Global and Ela Brazil. So it just felt right to do that in the first place. But yes, about the collaborations, I think we can really profit from each other, from this exchange of experiences and also knowledge about events, and making the possibility to receive you here in Brazil, and you receive us in Miami, and make our communities unite in all senses, not only socially, not only the social agenda that you defend there in Miami Pride with Gay Ocho, and also other possibilities that you have at the Global Chamber, but all with us as well, with our defenses, and how, for example, Brazilian people feel more safe in Miami than they perhaps feel in Brazil. So how we can, exchange those experiences and really profit from each other, and make money together, grow from these exchanges and those experiences. So yeah, from my part and from Ela Brazil, you can count on us 100%. Of course, right now we are in this digital environment, as I told you, because of COVID, and we are rethinking really carefully about the market, because the economic situation in Brazil is not as quite as we expected. But of course, when the train gets back on track, and probably we'll be more grateful to do business with you in a daily basis. So I can also share my email with you there if you have any questions, or you want to collaborate, or just say hi and schedule a meeting. We are here for you.
That sounds wonderful. I really love the fact that you're just ready to go with a collaboration, and it's just the sky is the limit. Just being creative together, and I'm sure everyone on this panel is, their wheels are turning right now. Let me see if we have any other questions in the chat, which I don't see any more coming in. Does anyone have any last comments? Because we're 2 minutes away from closing. So if there's any burning comments anyone has, or questions. Let's see.
I can say that I hope to see you guys in our convention in Atlanta, and I hope I can go. I already have my ticket, and I have the first shot, and I hope I have the second one in August and September. I can join you guys in US again. Thank you very much, everybody. And Brazil, we are open for America. It's, if you have the vaccination, just come, you enjoy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. So now we're at the time where this concludes our webinar today. We hope you enjoyed the content and that it's helpful in creating new connections and collaborations between Miami and Brazil. The Global Chamber Miami and the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau would like to again thank the Miami-Dade County Board of Commissioners, International Trade Consortium, the U.S. Department of State, and the U.S. Commercial Service, as well as our speakers today and our audience. Thank you all very much. Obrigada. Adios. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Até mais. Bye, bye.